When the morning was come, all the chief priests, I bet they had all their garb on, didn't they? Hey? All the chief priests and the elders of the people to counsel against Jesus. They'd already taken counsel. Now they couldn't get enough counsel against Jesus Christ. They'll sit again. Oh, we're going to deal with this brat. Oh, we're going to deal with... Oh, yeah. He's a brat. He's a devil. He's a sinner. Drunkard. Oh, you just hammer and talk. These people should have known better. These are the educated ones. All their pomp and circumstance, what did it serve? Nothing. But only to feed their own arrogance. And the people bowed down to these fiends. Bowed down to them. But of course, at the end of their days, their life would have been taken from them, as was, and themselves dragged down into hell of hells, screaming. But you know something? The reports would go out from these beggars, from this circle. Oh, such and such a Pharisee. He died singing the praises of the Lord. Oh, a smile upon his face. Oh, I saw the angels come for him. When the truth is that he went screaming out of this world. The very one, Jesus Christ, opening up the conscience of these Pharisees prior to their death. Probably months, maybe even a couple of years before their death. And then come to the time appointed to go out screaming, clutching hold, trying to clutch hold of this world as they are dragged down into the pit by the very demons that they served. That is the story that is never told and never will be told, even by neo-evangelicalism, because it does not do to tell the truth in neo-evangelicalism, because they hate the truth, as the Pharisees that they are, hate the truth. And of course, to tell the truth, they then would make null and void their religion of man and of devils. Okay, they came early in the morning, got together, they couldn't get enough of each other's wicked company to attack Jesus Christ. Their mouths must have been going at it like a swinging gate in a hurricane. And they took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. They deliberately did it. It was no mistake, like the neo-evangelicals say. Blow them. They're just wicked. They're from the pit. There was no mistake. It was a deliberate, willful, mens rea, actus reus decision. Alright? Actus reus, the action. Mens rea, the guilty mind, as they say in legalese. Okay? They came together, they murdered. Where was the law? These people were supposed to teach the law. Oh, these were all for the law. But where was the law? They murdered this man, an innocent man. There was no law, and there can be never any law to murder innocent people. But these did. These were teachers of the law. Ha! What law? They'd made the law null and void by their additions. These fiends. And they love to put the additions. They love to sit around and go, oh, right, yeah. Hey, Bert, what about this? What about you, Ruben? Hey, what about you, Bert? Who's Bert? Hey? I mean, no, honestly, they sat there and they debated. Right, we'll have this law. We'll introduce this because, it's one of these philosophical societies that they themselves brought about. And whatever they came up with, whatever they fancied, they made a law. It's our law. Oh, put my name to that. Hey? Beggars. They sat around. And they broke the law. Who else does that, Who else does that? Who preaches that they uphold the law and do not? Arminian neo-evangelicals. They say to us, we that uphold the law, we that sing the praises of the law, sing the song of Moses, harp on about Moses. They tell us we're antinomians. But it's them. Even by saying we're antinomians, they're bearing false witness. So they're not upholding the law. Because to break one part of the law is to break the whole of the law. Because the law is spiritual. Shouldn't bear false witness. Shouldn't lie. Shouldn't commit murder. Huh? If you lie against somebody, you've committed murder. How so? You've murdered their character. Thou shalt not commit adultery. You've committed adultery by lying. You've forsaken the truth for lies. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You've made yourself a god. And you've sat down on your throne. And you're pronouncing against other people because you're a god. Huh? And so it goes on. Because the law is spiritual, and it is our schoolmaster to lead us on to Christ to be justified. Not decisions. That's your God. You've made another God. You broke the 10 Commandments again. And you've lied again. So you broke the 10 Commandments again. Honour thy father and thy mother. Who is your father? He that is in heaven. Who's your mother? The church. You've dishonoured both of them. You broke the first commandment, therefore you end up, the first table of the law that Moses carried down from Mount Sinai, and equal the second table of the law on the tablet of stone for stoning hearts. You broke that as well. Because you break the first, you break the second. Simple as that. These fiends got together, rubbing their paws. Oh, we've got Christ. Got him secure now, the secular authorities. Oh, the secular authorities are not unclean then, Oh, no. Oh, they would touch the secular authorities, these priests, high priests and the rest of them that sat around here. They even paid blood money anyhow. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Of course, when they say bound him, that's their part equally in it. They bound the Lord of life. They bound absolute truth. But absolute truth overcame them. Sometimes you see, in this world, indeed, a lot of the time, we see it. we find the truth is bound. Then, in the given time, it breaks out. It breaks loose. When we think, oh, all is hopeless, it's gone, there's nothing we can do. Christ is here. And there's no way out. It's all finished. And even the disciples believed it was all finished. And it was sad. But then, when it was least expected, the truth rose and showed it cannot be bound. We can do nothing against the truth. It cannot be bound. It is free. And the joke about it all is the stupidity of man who believes he can bind the truth. No wonder. He that is in the heavens shall laugh, shall have them in derision. It's beyond comprehension. And these are educated people. These are educated people, the highest people, educated in the land. And when they had bound him, they led him away, delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor, led him away. So, the Jews didn't want the Messiah. They gave the Messiah to the Gentiles, to Pontius Pilate. You millennialists, you Judaizers, sit down and weep because the Messiah was given to the Gentiles. The Jews cast Jesus Christ, the Messiah, off and gave him to us, we Christians. And you know something? The remnant in Israel, political Israel, that is saved, continues to be saved, is secondary to us. It's not literal Israel that has the predominance. We Christians have the predominance. Judaism, which belongs to your political Israel, has not the predominance, only in hell. That's where it's predominant, in hell, because that's where it comes from. And everyone that follows it goes into that hell. The wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men. And let us get this straight. Unrighteousness of men, and everyone is unrighteous in this world. Every last being born in sin and shapen in iniquity. Doesn't matter if he's Jew or Gentile. Doesn't matter. So away with you Judaizers. Away. And another thing. You prefer political Jewry, therefore you prefer Judaism. And Judaism is leading into hell and has cast its millions into hell. And continues to do so. And you can continue to contend against Christianity, the Trinity, for Judaism. You're saying Judaism is greater than Christianity. You have abandoned Christ. You've abandoned the Messiah. You've handed over the Messiah, like the Jews here has, to us, the Gentiles. And what you have left in your camp, when an act of God takes hold of an elect Jew after the flesh, that's the remnant. We're not, as such, a small remnant as that is. We may be the last gleanings of the vine, Jesus Christ being the vine. But we are the predominant ones. And also, when a natural Jew, such as the Saul of Tarsus, gets converted, he becomes a Christian. So he's gone from your camp, matey boys, to our camp. because we rule. That's why. That's why. And that's why Paul can say, am I not a Jew? A Jew twice over, circumcised in the flesh and circumcised in the heart. You don't want the Messiah, you just pay lip service. You come as the people come. But your heart is far from God. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Not to a mean person, to the governor. They had talks with the governor. Eh? Talks with the governor. These are the Jews. Do you know, this was all done behind the backs of the people. People didn't know any of this. Oh, we read it. But before it was penned for us to read, and for the people to read it, when the event had already been over and played out, when it was being played out, people didn't know. This was done behind doors, behind closed doors. Come on now, how many things in this world, eh, the hierarchy are doing behind closed doors? Let me give you an example. A wonderful example within Christianity of this. Because this goes on in the world in general. Alright? And it goes on in Christian circles. Okay? And here's one, because it's more up to date. We have a man called Ian Paisley Sr. Okay? An Ulster politician and preacher and founder of the Free Presbyterian Church of Northern Ireland. And he's in with the government. But it's hidden from us. He's in with the British government, sitting in 10 Downing Street with Sinn Féin IRA, laughing and joking and having tea or coffee and biscuits and sandwiches and oh, hello Martin, hi there boy. We don't see any of this. And then when the door opens, it's all solemn faces. And yes, all the particular speeches against the IRA, Sinn Féin, and Sinn Féin then play their part. But it's very much different behind the doors, and we know this by the release of papers into the public domain. And all the shouting and bawling by this man was a performance, because it was different what was going on behind the people's backs. That he was one with IRA Sinn Féin, and of course equally the government and its security services was one with Sinn Féin IRA. Okay? But the publicity stunt, as here, would be shown as different. Shown as very much different, and stories made up. Okay? And of course, when the Chuckle Brothers came out, Ian Paisley and Martin McGuinness, did they last long? You tell me something, did they last long? No. Did these Pharisees last long? No. They didn't. What was it, 2 years before they were both dead? You see, God had ordered this. It sent a strong delusion through these people. Well, through this people, this setup, okay? And Ian Paisley got all these followers. And then God removed the mask. And Paisley couldn't do anything about it. Guinness couldn't do anything about it. God removed that mask and showed us what hypocrisy is and what the truth is. And the disciples of Ian Paisley were shocked, because they'd followed a man and not God. Man is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know him? We can hardly know ourselves. He played the people. He became the idol of the people. The people bowed down and worshipped him. Couldn't get enough of him. They've got to go and hear him. He's over here, he's going to be preaching at this chapel or this church or this convention. People had to go there because they worshipped him. And God just pulled away the mask and the curtain. And the truth was known. If we abandon God for man, God will take us to task. What did it profit these two people who are now in hell? Wickedness is punishable by the death of deaths, hell itself. It is not Christian to do what they did. And they went without chastisement because they were bastards. People don't want to hear this. It doesn't matter. Truth is truth. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself, and brought again